We're gonna check this out right now. This is 20 strict rules. The strict rules Ellen forces her guests to follow on her show. Wow, 20 is too much, bro. We're gonna check out the strict rules and see what's going on. I don't know what it's all about, but we're gonna find out. All right.
Loves coming to your show. I know everyone that works here. They're very nice people. And you scared me.
Being on the Ellen DeGeneres show looks like a blast, but behind the scenes there's a lot more going on than just a bunch of dancing, although there's plenty of that too. Everyone from audience members to celebrity guests are expected to follow
We're gonna
some
see what's
pretty
going on
strict
with this
rules. Banned
with this Ellen
objects.
show.
Wondering what audience members can bring to the Ellen DeGeneres show? Anything you can't get through airport security is banned from the studio.
Wow.
This includes obvious items like scissors and mace and
that one is
potentially
true.
hazardous stuff like knitting needles.
Yeah, that's correct.
Another big no-no for audience members is bringing cameras. You can bring your cell phone with a built-in camera, but you have to leave it off the entire time or risk it getting confiscated. If security takes one of your items, they're not responsible for getting it back to you, so make sure you don't bring anything you don't want to lose. Dress code. You'll also want to take special care with your clothes if you plan on appearing on the show. Producers prefer bright colors and no black or white outfits are allowed. The
No.
studio requests that
What?
audience members
What? No black and white? What?
dress nicely in business casual or upscale trendy attire. Even though fans are there to see Ellen, they're forbidden from wearing Ellen or Warner Brothers apparel or really anything with a big obvious logo. If you're arriving with a group, know that you're not allowed to coordinate your outfits. Instead of asking you to change, studio employees will straight up deny you access if you're not dressed properly for the show. Ellen access. Being in the audience gives you a chance to see Ellen up close and personal, but you won't be getting too close. Don't bother bringing along something to be autographed because this host doesn't do signings in the studio. The studio cites time constraints for the reasoning behind this rule, and Ellen's tight schedule means she can't spare a moment for hugs either. Fans can pass along gifts to Ellen, but they can't hand them over directly. Instead, they have to be declared at security and turned over to a staff member who will deliver them later. Line time. Of course, fans can't just waltz into the studio. They have to wait in a long line. And since
Wow.
it's outside,
For
potential
what?
audience members are subjected to the elements the whole time. Bringing an
Got it.
umbrella is always a good idea. One good thing about the queue is that it gives guests a chance to grab a snack and a drink since they aren't allowed to bring food or beverages into the studio. Free gifts. Being an audience member on the Ellen DeGeneres show does come with some perks, including a free piece of merchandise. And just to be clear, that's one item per person. It may sound simple, but on one episode, a woman had a problem understanding this rule. She loaded up on freebies only to be caught on camera and called out by Ellen herself. This incident was definitely uncomfortable, and even watching it at home was cringe-inducing. Following Ellen's rules is important because you never know who will be watching. It could be an entire audience. Riff-raff room. Even waiting in that long line is no guarantee that you'll actually make it into Ellen's audience. But don't worry because you can still catch the episode from her riff-raff room. Actor Tom Hanks came up with the name for this area, which includes an Ellen photo booth, Ellen
Be kind
merch,
to
and
one
of course
another.
tons of screens for
Oh.
viewing the show. Those who end up in the riff-raff room get a guaranteed ticket to a future taping, and according to previous attendees, there's plenty of dancing going on. Limited access. Celebrity guests get to go backstage, but that doesn't necessarily mean they get extra face time with Ellen. According to former Bachelor contestant Corinne Olympios, she wasn't supposed to see the host at all before the show. When she did accidentally bump into Ellen, the crew was upset about this behind-the-scenes fiasco. As for Ellen herself, Corinne says she was very cold and the whole experience made her uncomfortable. Mandatory dancing. One of the many things fans love about the Ellen DeGeneres show is all the dancing, but it turns
Mandatory.
out that fun is all
Why
mandated
is
by
it
Ellen.
mandatory?
Turning down a dance is not an option. Caitlyn Jenner found this out the hard way when Ellen put her on blast for not boogieing down. She accused Caitlyn of declining a dance because Ellen is a lesbian, but Caitlyn's side of the story is that Ellen never asked her to take part in this time-honored tradition, and she accused the host of not welcoming her into the LGBTQ community. Must love kids. Since she doesn't have any of her own, there have always been rumors that Ellen doesn't like kids. Star Magazine even reported that she won't even let her friends bring their children over. To combat this PR situation, Radar Online claims Ellen insists that her guests bring their kids along for photo ops. Just look at this sweet pic of her playing My Little Pony with Northwest. And when Kylie Jenner made an appearance on the show, she brought her daughter Stormi along, which made for some adorable moments. No advance notice. Ellen is known for having tons of top celebrities on her show, but audience members never know who they're going to end up seeing. Since details of the show change frequently, no information is released in advance to potential attendees. They don't know who the celebrity guest will be or even when the episode will air, but there's one thing they can be certain of: Ellen will be there. Getting scared. Being a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres Show can be scary, and not just because these stars are in front of a huge audience. It's because the host just loves to pull pranks, and when it comes to scaring someone, nothing is off limits.
I don't like to be scared. Do you know that? You don't know that about me, but
No,
I really don't like it.
First of all, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. I like it. So.
Billie Eilish appeared on the show and expressed excitement that she had been followed on social media by Justin Bieber. So naturally, Ellen made sure to have someone wearing a Justin wig jump out at Billie in order to frighten her. Even when a guest host takes over, this tradition continues. Chrissy Teigen took the opportunity to startle her husband John Legend, and Josh Gad had a guy dressed as Olaf scare Idina Menzel. Playing games. Another time-honored Ellen tradition is playing games, so having a competitive spirit is a must. When Cardi B, Chance the Rapper, and T.I. appeared on the show, they talked about things like Rhythm and Flow, Hustlers, and Paris Fashion Week. But they also played a rousing game of Never Have I Ever. Cardi B admitted to regretting some of the names she's had tattooed on herself, while Chance is no longer a fan of having Get Back to Work on his chest. Selfies only.
God.
Earlier we mentioned that cameras are banned from the show, but sometimes celebrity guests are able to get around this rule. That's because Ellen just can't resist the potential for a top-notch, celeb-packed selfie. Guests have been known to pull out their phones in order to pose for a photo on the show. Social media star Ellen even offered to help Julia Roberts pump up her number of Instagram followers by giving her the Kardashian treatment. After being turned into an honorary Kardashian, she tries posing with delicious-looking food delivered by Martha Stewart herself. Must be liked. This show is never hurting for celebrity guests, but being a current sensation just isn't enough. You also have to be approved by Ellen herself. And although she's notoriously cheerful, she doesn't like everybody. She has a long-standing feud with fellow comedian Kathy Griffin, and Ellen's accused her of being angry that she's not allowed on the show. She famously canceled Kim Burrell's appearance after the gospel singer was caught making homophobic remarks on...
Well, that's a lot of rules. That's a lot of rules here, man. 20. No, that's too much, though.
Video. But while there are plenty of canceled celebs on Ellen's anti-guest list, she has plenty of regulars on the show. These include stars like Justin Timberlake, Jennifer Aniston, and Justin Bieber. Post-Oscars. Ellen's also been proud to welcome many recent Oscar winners and nominees as guests. In fact, making a post-Academy Awards appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres Show is practically a rite of passage at this point. After A Star is Born earned an amazing 8 nominations, director Bradley Cooper couldn't resist appearing on the show to talk about his achievements. Be proud. One of the reasons everyone loves Ellen is because she just seems to radiate positivity. But of course, there have always been rumors that she might not be as friendly in real life as she appears to be on the show. According to Ellen, the accusations that she's difficult to work with are an outright lie, but there is one rule that she admits she's not willing to bend on. She wants everyone to be proud of being on the show, and if they're not, well, they know where the door is. Application process. Even with all of these rules, there is no shortage of fans desperate to attend a taping of the show. But how exactly do you make
this
that
line
happen?
is too much,
In order
bro.
to be an audience member, you need to apply on the website, and you might not get through the first
Just to
time.
sit down and
While
clap,
some fans have gotten
bro.
lucky, others report
I
applying
don't
over
know.
10 times before getting a ticket. And when it's your turn, you better be ready. Most fans only get a couple of days notice before they're set to appear in the studio. Knowing how challenging it is to be chosen really makes you feel for all the people who end up getting stuck in the riffraff room. Keep your story straight. Getting into the audience on the Ellen DeGeneres Show isn't easy, but being a guest can put you on the hot seat too. Everyone knows the Kardashian-Jenner family makes frequent appearances, but that doesn't mean Ellen is afraid to call them out. Telling the truth is an important part of being on the show, and on one occasion, Kris Jenner made a huge slip-up. She claimed that the whole family flew to Ohio when Khloe started going into labor, but Ellen pointed out that Kris had already planned to be there well in advance. Not content with catching her in one lie, Ellen praised Kris for her dealings with untruthfulness and stated, "You've lied to me all the time." Awkward. Kris claimed to be simply confused about the details of her complicated family, but Ellen seemed skeptical. Wow, how many people can say they've stood up to Kris Jenner like that? On the spot, not only does Ellen demand the truth, but she isn't afraid to ask hard-hitting questions. When Justin Bieber was spotted spending time with model Jade Pierce, Ellen ambushed him with a scandalous photo of them together. Justin said she really put him on the spot, but dealing with difficult questions is part of being on the show. After Ariana Grande gave a musical performance, Ellen said she messed up by walking backstage at the wrong time. Apparently, the talk show host wasn't going to call her out for tripping on her chair during her song Thank You Next, but when she tried to exit the stage before she was supposed to leave, Ellen just couldn't resist correcting her in front of everyone. Even huge stars like Ariana need to follow the rules because Ellen isn't afraid to speak up. Backstage behavior. Before the cameras start rolling, guests are supposed to get their hair and makeup done by Ellen's crew. Even though it's supposed to be a rule, it's one that's been broken by some more high-maintenance guests. According to Radar Online, Kylie Jenner brought her own styling team and demanded they get their own dressing room. If that wasn't extra enough, allegedly she also demanded her crew get 2 extra VIP parking spots so they wouldn't have to walk less than a block to the studio.
Really?
The same source claims that
Okay.
Kylie's big sister Kim also causes quite the stir when she appears on the show. This reality TV star allegedly brings her own entourage and leaves Ellen's crew scrambling to accommodate them all. Does struggling to follow the rules run in the family, or are Kim and Kylie just too used to being on their own show?
That's a lot of rules. I don't know. No. I better stay home. Stay in my own house, chilling, drinking Kool-Aid. You feel me? Oh boy. Okay.